Yo, hi, welcome. This is gonna be just a vlog of training. Let's see. Yeah, max. So it's not gonna be a gameplay. It's gonna be pumping. But I want a webcam. It needs to be easier. I need a webcam for the PlayStation, and it also needs to be a little bit more easy. Yeah. But yeah, hopefully. I used this track for years, but I realize now that I have the game, so I don't have to, look up the track on YouTube. Just open the menu and stream. So in that way, streaming has become a lot more easy. So yeah. So yeah. When you're dealing with the winter, you're dealing with cold, and your muscles, they have to deal with that as well. And when it's cold, your body needs to warm up like a diesel engine. It needs to warm up before you start it. And when it's winter, like it is here, you need to warm up your body first. But the problem is you need to warm up so much that you need to actually take a step back. Because if you don't, you're gonna have injuries. Most of the injuries, they happen in the fall. You know why? Because people think it's still summer, and they keep pumping and they keep pumping, and then bam, your string, your arm string. I don't know what they call it in English, but your body is connected with a pieces of elastic. Your body's connected not only with bone, but also with strings, with like sort of ropes in your body. When you do a pump, you're not only moving your bones and your muscles, but you're also moving a string that keeps things together. And if you go too hard, you cut that string, and it takes years and years and years to repair that. And if you're too unlucky, you'll remove that string. If your pump is too heavy, and you can break that string, or you can even break your bone. Once you break your bones, there are 90% that there is no return in that sport or whatever you're doing in life. Or in construction also, it's in construction or in certain jobs, you can't break bones. You do that, your career in that profession is over, man. If you break your legs, if you break your arms in construction, your construction job is pretty much over. Your athletic career is pretty much over if you break a bone. People say, yeah, but there's miracles and there's handicap athletics. Yeah, those are the things they want you to see. But in normal in normal athlete sports, when you break a bone, it's over. You have to like, okay, it's over now. You have to like make that switch, because it's gonna be easier for you to repair yourself. You have to like return to really small. When I broke my arm string, when I cut my arm string, I had to return to basic weights, like little tiny weights. It took me years to repair, and I did. I recovered really good. I'm actually surprised how good I'm recovering from that, because now I do both 20 kilo, but it took me years to do that. So in the winter, especially in the fall, you're vulnerable for injuries, because you're still pumping in the summer. Because in the summer, your body's always hot, your body's always sweating, and you're always ready. Because in the hotness, your body also recovers. Because of the vitamin D, your body makes a lot of testosterone, and testosterone create minerals, and minerals are the basic ingredients to recover. That's why every bloke eats meat and drinks beer in the summer. You know why? Because those things are insanely good for repairing muscle tissues. I'm not saying that you should drink alcohol or that you should eat meat, but if you're a brain dead bloke, then those ingredients are really good for you, because beer lessens your blood fatness. It makes the blood thin, and the meat makes the blood strong. And with those ingredients, you become stronger and stronger and stronger. You also become dumber and dumber and dumber. But yeah, that's why blokes are blokes. And yeah, it's funny, because years and years and years ago, we had this way of life, and we were doubting it, and we were fighting it, and we were debating it, and there's Greenpeace, and there's all kinds of debates about that. But that's the way if you want to gain muscle. That's actually really the way. Why do you think all those aggressive motherfuckers eat meat, eat sausages, and drink beers all the time? Because it works, people. It works. Beer makes your blood thin. That's why all those construction workers, they have these insane big blood vessels, but they are at the same time they're insanely strong because it works. All your vitamins that you get, that you receive, the apple shmoosh and the salads on the side of those meat and potatoes, they flow through your body more easily. And because you eat meat, your muscle regenerates more quickly. And because you keep drinking, because those fuckers always end up alcoholic, and those veins become even bigger. So it works, man. It works. And you know why it works even better on them? Because there's nothing about in their back chamber. There's nothing in that head. There's nothing in their head. Do you know what fitness motivators always say when you're pumping? They say, don't think. When you're thinking, you're gonna make mistakes. You're not gonna be able to do that rep. You need to not think. That's the most important mentality when you wanna push yourself, when you wanna do insane lifts. You wanna not think. You don't want to think, because when you're thinking, you're doubting, and when you're doubting, you're not going to be able to. That's why I'm not talented at what I do. I am good and I'm strong at what I do, but I'm not talented, because you might have seen my montages, and with those montages, you need to be smart. If you're not smart about that, if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't concentrate when you're making that shit, then it's very difficult. You need to actually have brains to make those montages. What I'm doing is MBO, is college stuff. It's not high college stuff, but it's pretty smart stuff. Maybe even in America. I'm European, so I don't know in America, but what I'm doing, those montages, it takes some brain, man. That took some brain to make that shit. So it's not the easiest shit. So I'm not saying I should go to Harvard. No, hell no, man. I'm not that smart. But yeah, you can't drink yourself to death and make that stuff. So, but when you're a bloke, when you need to pump shit, you can drink insanely, because you don't need to think, man. People do that for you. You only need to be ripped. You only need to be shredded. You don't need to be smart, man. There's people doing the thinking for you. Yeah? You only need to be ripped. That's where girls come along, and you need to be strong. That's where your job comes along, and your girl and your job takes care of you. That's why, that's the mentality of a shredded bloke. And that's the good mentality, actually. That's actually a very good mentality. Don't think when you're pumping. But when you do think about how cold it is. Think about if it's hot or cold. Because if it's cold, your body might be cold. And when your body is cold, you're vulnerable for injuries. But I got a thick skin, as you might have seen already, so I'm a little bit prepared for that. But I need to watch out too, because it can happen to me. It has happened to me one time, so I've got to be careful now. Yeah. It's not going to happen today. It's going to happen tomorrow maybe, but I don't think it's going to happen today. I don't know, I'm going to do a couple more reps, but I've been pumping already insanely much, and I got to watch out, man. Oh yeah, this arm is going strong. Yeah. Let's see if this arm is doing good. That's why it's not entirely honest. I know I made a promise to keep a certain amount of weight, but in the winter you gotta take a step back. You just gotta, man. There's no other way. If you don't want injuries, you gotta take a step back. And even the construction workers do it. Even the soccer players do it. You don't see a lot of soccer in the winter. You don't see a lot of construction workers in the winter. They're either at school or it doesn't happen. You know why? Not only because the shovel or the ball doesn't go around. It's also because you can have serious amount of injuries. If you step from the ladder or whatever, and you break your hip or you break your ankle, that's dangerous, man. And there's no return often. In construction, if mistakes happen, it can happen for life or it can happen for years. So what I'm doing is actually pretty good because it's 10 December. It's 10 December. Most construction workers are now in the frost period. The frost period means that they're at home drinking beer, drinking coffee, taking a break, because now go outside and look around you how much construction there's happening. There isn't, man. There really isn't. You know why? Because it's dangerous, man. You either can't get a shovel into the ground, or it's just the sand needs to flow, man. And in my country, when it's cold, as cold as it is here, you can't work with this temperature. It isn't wrong, it isn't bad. You don't want to injure yourself. But it's really important when it's cold, you gotta slow down. You gotta take it easy, because if you don't, you get injured. You break something. You don't want to have that, because in the summer you gotta go hard again. You gotta go hard. You gotta bump. You gotta go nuts. You gotta go full out. You gotta go beast mode. But when those injuries happen in the winter, and your body is gonna say, no, man, you gotta take a break now. But the beautiful thing is, if you take a couple of steps back in the winter, you can go even fucking harder, man, in the summer. You can go beast mode. You can use that progress you made in the winter, and you can use it in the summer. Huh? But you gotta slow down. You gotta take it easy. You gotta take one step back so you can take 10 steps forward in the summer. So when the summer begins, I'm gonna put that 2.5 kilo and another 2.5 kilo on the 20 kilo I'm pulling, and I'm gonna be at 25, or actually 27, and I'm gonna put that weight on when the summer hits, when I'm feeling good, and then you will see how fast, how easy you will regain and step up that progress. But what most people do is they take a break in the winter. They take a break. And you know what happens in the winter when they do that? A lot of progress they gained in the summer, they lose. They go fucking, they go drinking, they go smoking, and they don't do their pumps anymore. And most of the progress they gained in the summer, they lose. And that's important, that you don't do that. And you can do that by just taking a couple of steps back. Take it easy in the winter. Take it easy. And then you can gain so much in the summer. Hope you, don't feel bad because you're not making the gains. You're not pulling that shit that you did in the summer, because your body needs to acclimate. How do I say that? The temperature needs to be hot. It's like you're hammering iron. I know we don't hammer iron. We're all on our iPads, but it's like if you're baking a pizza in the oven. If you go to the how do you say this? If you're putting a pizza in the oven, yeah, or you're putting a burger in the microwave, what do you want to do? You want to eat it right after it's hot. Because when it's hot, when you get it out of the oven and you start eating it, or you get it out of the microwave and you start eating it, it's tasty. And that's with pumping iron too. You gotta do it when you're hot. Because when you're hot, you're strong. Yeah? It's like a car, man. Yeah, most of my followers, most of my listeners, they have cars. If you start your engine, you can't just drive away usually. In modern cars you could, but back in the days when you have a car, you had to start your engine, then you go back home, then you go back inside, you get a cup of coffee, you get a cup of tea, or you jerk off, whatever you do, and you wait until your car is hot, when the engine is hot, and then you go drive to your work. But you don't just start your car and just start. No, you have to warm it up first. You have to warm up your car, you have to let the engine flow first, and then you drive to your work. That's what everybody did back in the days, but now the engines are electric or whatever. But yeah, but most of my followers know that. I probably have a lot of blokes that watch my content. Back in the days when you had a diesel engine, maybe with benzene also, but when you had diesel engine, you go back outside in your pajamas or in your boxers, you start your engine and you go back inside, you drink a cup of coffee, and then you drive to your work. Because you gotta warm up first. You gotta take it easy. Because when you do that, yeah, it's good for your car, man. The car goes a lot longer by doing that. And your muscles go a lot longer if you warm up first. Take it easy. Take a couple of. It's like foreplay. You don't dive onto your girlfriend right away. You don't just rip off. It's nice. It's fun. But kitty's got claws and she's gonna scratch you if you do that probably. If you rip off her pants right away and you fuck her, yeah, usually that doesn't go that way. You gotta play it, man. You gotta tease it. You gotta put your arms around her. You gotta do some poking, and then you can dive in. You can't just, you can't just rip off her pants and rip off her shirt. That's back in the 80s, man, when those movies were there, like with Basic Instinct. You can't do that, man, in a relationship. Usually, you can't just rip off her pants and just jam your general in it. Yeah, you can't do that, man. You gotta warm it up first. Yeah? Yeah. Weights are like women, like that. Yeah, weights are like women. And you can't just rip off her pants and just jam your. Yeah, you gotta warm it up first, man. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not a young man anymore, I'm not a young man. I know I've learned some things, man. I had to learn it too, man. Oh, I had to learn. I'm the stupidest man when it comes to women, man. I'm just the dumbest person when it comes to women. But I tell you, man, you gotta poke around, and that's with weights too. You can't just go. No, you gotta warm up first. And in the winter, your body is usually always cold. So you gotta start slow. Because because I was talking, I did my pumps, and I had this feeling like today I wasn't gonna do pumps because, man, I've been pumping so much lately. But because I'm doing this vlog, I feel like, yeah, let's try a couple of pumps. Let's try a couple of pumps, and that's perfect, man. That's perfect because I made some progress today. I wasn't going to do anything today. But when you do that, usually drinking goes along with it, smoking, you take your break, and then you usually lose all that progress. That's what every young stud, every young bloke makes. They take a break in the winter, and they lose everything they gained in the summer. And in high developed countries, like in Europe, you have social warfare. Like you have modern warfare, but you also have social warfare. You gotta watch out with grown-up people, man. Because when you're like I'm a little bit moaning right now because I did some pumps. People, they wanna. I have the holy belief every person cares 90% only about himself. Not even his mother, not even his brother. Every person cares 90% only for himself. That's why most people, you can look at them at the bus or whatever, and they won't notice that you're looking, because somebody told me something that's very important. You have no clue how self-involved people are. You have no clue. You can stand in front of someone's window and the lights are on, the fucking lights are outside on, and people won't notice you. It's maybe a creepy thing I just said, but you have no clue how self-involved people are. But when people sometimes take the aggressive stance, and in social warfare, you know how they do that? They say, "Ooh man, your conditioning is bad. Ooh man, you gained some fat. Ooh man, you're a little bit overweight, aren't you?" And with Christians or with high educated people, that social warfare goes deep. And you gotta be prepared for that. You gotta ignore that shit, man. With high developed people, with people like elites or with high educated people, they're gonna say to you things. They're gonna like, "Oh man, you stink," or "You got a hole in your shirt," or "Man, that isn't that pants a little bit out of fashion?" You gotta watch out for that, because people that are strong physical, they tend to be emotional weak, and Christians or maybe even Muslims or people that are highly educated, that have a social structure in their life, they're gonna exploit that weakness from you. They're gonna say like, or even narcissists. There's a lot of narcissism in these days in this world. People wanna just hurt out of spite or out of envy. And social warfare is in Europe is a big thing. They wanna, if someone doesn't like you, if someone wants to hurt you, they're gonna say shit like, "Oh, isn't that pants out of fashion? You look a little bit fat. Have you gained some weight?" They're gonna do anything to touch your emotional weakness, and especially if they know you're a bloke, because blokes are usually very vulnerable for that. Because we live in a society where you can't touch someone without their approval. You can't just, back in the days, back in the 80s or back in the 70s, you could say, "Don't you, what you're saying? You're trying to offend me? Maybe you want to take it outside." But now we live in a society, you can't do that shit anymore, man. You can't say like, "Oh, you got something against me? Okay, let's take it outside."
We live in a society of pacifism. We live in a society of cameras, of iPhones, of social security. There's a lot of social security these days. There's people with iPhones. There's people with cameras. There's people with that are always recording your shit. And blokes that are physical strong, they tend to be weak in their mind, and smart people, they exploit that. If they don't like you, they're gonna say shit to you that you don't like, and you're gonna go back home and you're gonna eat yourself up because you know that you can't touch him because of the social power they have. They can say shit to you, but they know you can't touch them because they have lawyers, they have cameras, they have, you name it, man. That we live in a security country. In my country, we live in a country. In my country, in the Netherlands, we live in a country where there's always security. There's always a camera. There's always an iPhone or something that can that has social security. Back in the days, you in a bar when somebody made an offense or in a shop or anywhere, you could say, "Oh, you got something in here? Let's punch this out. Let's fight this shit, man. I'm gonna break your fucking nose now, so you can't say shit to me anymore." But now you can't do that anymore. We live in because of all the cameras, of all the rules, you can't fight things out. No. You're gonna end up in jail, man. You're gonna lose everything. Now we live in a society where everyone is wearing a wire, or there's always a camera nearby, and when you do that shit, you're gonna get caught. Even if you're a honorable soldier with a recognition from the Queen herself, and you take a piss outside, you're gonna end up in jail in my country. It's been on the news, man. Even honorable, decorated soldiers, there's no one that gets any credit for if you break the law. The law right now is really powerful, man. Even if it's unjust. And when you're a bloke, you tend to have that testosterone. You tend to have that physical prowess. But in society today, you can't use that prowess. You can't fight things out, even if you know you're 10 times stronger than that person. You gotta go with the rules. You gotta oblige because, that chicken costs money, man. So you gotta kiss ass sometimes because you can't fight things out. There's rules, man. There's knives. There's guns. You can't, The days of fighting things out like a proud person are over, man. There's no pride in Western society anymore. There's no pride. There's no pride anymore. And pride in a good way. Like, there's no honor. There's no honor in Western society anymore. Honor can get you killed. Honor can get a knife in your throat. That's what honor gives you eventually. So you gotta inhale, exhale, one ear out when somebody says shit to you. You gotta think they're saying that shit because they want to hurt you, not because you're weak. And there's a lot of people that want to hurt you with their words, and it can be very effective. Don't underestimate that shit, man. Be aware of that when they're doing that. Call them out. Maybe you gotta laugh. You gotta laugh really hard about that. Make them know that you know what they're doing. Make them know that you know what they're doing. People will always try to bring you down in today's society. Like saying shit like, you're strong, but your condition is not good. You should do some running. Or wait, man, you're strong, but you're fat. Or You're strong, but you stink. Yeah? Even when you're at the gym. It's so, we live in such a sick society, man. Ooh. Oh. You know. All right. All right. Nothing wrong, but I'm gonna keep it tight. I'm gonna keep it short. Cause, yeah, it's been quite much these days. So today, I'm gonna take it easy. Thank you for watching. You have a great day, man.